Happy 150, go South End! Happy 150 South End! Thank you. Alright. Happy 150 South End!
Happy anniversary.
150.
Happy anniversary, sir! Woo!
Birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday.
Happy 150th anniversary for the South End Club.
Happy anniversary, sir.
150th anniversary. Go South End.
Happy birthday, mighty, mighty, mighty South End!
Happy 150th anniversary, South End Rowing Club. We love you.
Happy anniversary!
South End Swimmers and Rowers, happy 150th anniversary.
Happy birthday!
Barrie, tell me about John Brennan.
Well, John Brennan lived at the club, but you're not allowed to sleep here. It's against the law.
Yes.
So, or against the arrangement with the city. So he had a van where he slept in his van that he parked in the back. And he
pilot.
He would pilot Lucille Matthews, not anyone else, just Lucille Matthews.
Okay.
And she was an old lady who liked to swim, and she was very slow, very slow. Anyway, he was the one that would answer the door if the bell rang, and someone came to the door and wanted to know what do you have to do to be able to join this club? And he was telling us, it was not said in front of this person, but he said, they let O.J. Simpson in if he paid his dues.
How to keep himself busy?
Well, when he was in the Navy, his older brother was in the Navy first, and he gave him advice. He said, when you're on the ship, always be carrying a bucket.
Why is that?
Then they'll think you're busy. No one will bother you. No one will give you work to do. They'll think you're already working. And when you get promoted, you carry a clipboard, and that shows you're busy, you're working. So that was the ethos of the Navy, for at least a good story that he told. But he was very, very quiet person. And then he died, and then shortly after that, Jefferson came.
Yes.
And I knew Jefferson because I used to do a lot of work for the city around homelessness.
Yes.
And he was at meetings.
Okay.
And so I knew him before he came to the club.
Yeah.
But then he sort of took John Brennan's place.
Yeah, he does cook a lot too. Sometimes he makes some bread.
Oh yes, he cooked a lot.
We really enjoy those bread and
yeah.
pizza.
And he fed Bob Roper.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Barrie, tell us about your time that you were here long time ago and George Farnsworth was still alive.
George Farnsworth was alive, really scrappy fellow. But I only saw him, on the beach, or I didn't have a conversation with him as such, but I heard stories. The sauna is full of all these stories. So I heard stories about him.
Okay.
And I came to his memorial and heard wonderful stories. Wonderful stories.
Mm-hmm.
I love the memorials they have here. It's what you learn about the people.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he did 70 Alcatraz swims just shortly before he died.
Uh-huh.
And now everybody swims 70 Alcatrazes. It's nothing. There are 1,000 Alcatrazes, probably more.
1,000 Alcatraz, yeah.
And I remember when Christine swam the English Channel.
Christine Buckley?
Christine Buckley,
okay.
Yeah. And that was the first person I ever saw who swam the English Channel. I think she was not the first in the club, but
that was a long swim.
Before there was a dozen, I think, who had done it. Anyway, and she went all by herself. It was part of her own meditation about what she was doing, and but she said she swam it, and then she got to France, the other side. And she was feeling around on the bottom because she wanted to find a stone, a souvenir.
Uh-huh.
and she's swimming, and the people on the boat are telling her, "What are you doing? Come on!" Because she wasn't in far enough. She had to touch land, more land, or something. And so I don't know if she found her stone, but then she got back on the boat, got dressed, and she's sitting there, and the people, running the boat said, "Aren't you going to vomit?" "Why should I vomit? Everybody vomits." So that was Christine, did things her own way.
Oh my.
And just she is something. She's wonderful.
Wait, Barrie, remind me what year you joined South End again?
94.
94. Okay, so that was after the women were admitted to the club.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Can't remember the other old timers, but I loved in this. I swam early, and so a lot of other swimmers came late. So I could hear all the stories of people in the sauna. I knew their lives, their husbands, their boyfriends, all the drama, and I wasn't part of their lives, but I was part of them. I could hear about their lives.
It's a big family here.
Yes, indeed, it really is. It really is. And if I had been single, I had a husband and he didn't want to swim, and he didn't want to do handball. I gave him a handball and the glove and everything, but he didn't go for it. So, sort of awkward. I have these two allegiances. So I'm not as active and it's not my whole social life. Whereas a lot of people, it seems to be, well, you said family. I have family too, but I don't hang out with them.
Lots of people consider this like home away from home.
Yeah, yeah. But if I were single, oh boy, I'd jump on it. I'd look for my husband here.
Lots of people do.
Yeah.
They did.
I don't know that they all work out.
No.
Yeah, and the first year I was here, or shortly after I joined in September. It was a Christmas party, and it was a talent show.
No.
And Joan Mencken got up there, and she was juggling oranges, telling a story about driving across town, arguing with her father-in-law about the best way to get from one part of town to another part of town, all the while juggling oranges. And then the other guy, the old firefighter, who cooked, single man, or maybe widower.
There's so many firefighters in South End.
Right.
Okay.
He sang at the talent show. He sang, some World War I. I don't remember what the song was, but then he and I sang together at a talent show later. We did some singing together, and we sang, I'll never fall in love again. I thought my heart was safe. I thought I knew the score. I never, la, 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 la. Now all at once it's you forevermore. But this is wine, that's all too strange and strong. Anyway, so he sang that with me, and we harmonized with each other.
Wow, that's
But
fun.
I forget his name. John Sullivan.
Okay.
Anyway, old, this is olden days.
There are lots of history of the club, and that's always good to hear these kind of fun stories.
Yeah. And I was very fond of Buck Delventhal. I didn't know him well, but he always said, I saw him frequently come in as I left. And he was always so cheery. And then I knew him from the city. People knew him. He spoke like 6 languages.
Oh, yeah.
And he would talk to people in their language down at the city hall. And he was a very special person. He went very fast.
Yeah.
And I was very fond of Diana. Because she was always, when I asked if you said you were not an efficient swimmer, and I asked, because she was a very efficient swimmer.
Yeah,
and she was always thinking of the forces on her. What's the water doing? What's the air doing? Is my arms, and she started in ballet.
Yes.
And when you do ballet, you're always thinking, are my legs turned out enough? If I put my arm out, is the water poured down here going to drop off my finger here? You're always having this image of the perfect form every second that you're doing the thing.
Yes.
And actually, a lot of sports like that, I'm sure.
I see.
But I was very fond of Diana. Okay. But she could be abrasive, but wasn't to me. Intimidating is the better word.
Yes, that's true.
But I was very fond of her.
It's actually very hard. I took many pictures of Diana, but it's very hard to capture the moment she's actually smiling. That's really tough. But I have a few good ones.
Oh, she was a taskmaster, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that she took over that opera. I put her onto that job at the Pocket Opera.
Okay.
Because a friend of mine was part of that board, and they were hiring somebody, and so, and they were, they were just borderline surviving, and she went in and she just kept it going for years.
Yes.
And she was so good at what she did. Whatever she did, she strived to do it really well.
Oh, I can feel that while swimming, do all the Alcatraz swim with her, yeah.
And then also when early morning swimming, we would often see Irene. And she swam every morning very early.
Irene Chang.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And she was another person who was very impressive because she was always moving, working her joints.
Yeah, she swam really early.
And she would swim in the ocean.
Yes.
And,
Ocean Beach, yeah.
Yeah. And brave lady. And then one day she did a sunriser swim, and she was way in the back. Shortly after she joined. And she got way behind, and people didn't know she was there. Everyone came in, took out the boat, and Irene was way back. And she said she saw them. She wasn't sure where's the opening, and and she's swimming, and she's saying, "For my life, for my life, for my life." This was winter, And she got in, but boy, whoever was piloting that boat should have counted. When they started swimming, they should have counted who was swimming.
But that's the story I haven't heard before. Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
I have to talk to her about this.
Yeah.
Okay. Barrie, thank you for your time.
Okay.
Thank you so much. These are great stories.
My pleasure.
Thank you.